Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Gooner here, bringing you another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I've been just doing a slight review of the Community Shield game that was played today versus Manchester City. Of course, you can never get discouraged by adding more silverware to the cabinet. Um, it was a great game all in all. I was really looking forward to it. Like I said in my last episode, that I was really looking for Arsenal to really come out and act like they wanted it, and that's exactly what they did. They really came out and they just ran pretty much all over City throughout the whole game. They looked faster, they looked stronger. Uh, Everything looked. They had a lot of fluidity uh, in the game from start to finish. More towards the end, they kind of called off the dogs, I guess you could say, and they're just kind of like passing around. There wasn't too many opportunities or chances, which they probably could. I mean, the game could have easily been like around like 4 or 5-0 if they really wanted to, if they really wanted to press. And honestly, I mean, I would have liked to see them go for that instead of. Um, it seems like when Arsenal gets up by a certain tally, whether it be 2-0, 3-0, they kind of call off the dogs where, um, they don't really care too much about goal difference, but you kind of saw it in last year, how goal difference kind of made a little bit of a, uh, it made a little bit of a difference, or it could have, especially near the end of the season between Manchester City and Liverpool. You saw a few years ago with Manchester City, with Aguero's, basically last minute goal that gave them the title. Um, so I wish, Arsenal, or Arsenal at least, would kind of get away from that. I know some people say, well, Liverpool against Crystal Palace, uh, they try to go after more goals, and it hurt them at the end. But in the grand scheme of things, you want to try to score as many goals as you possibly can, because that goal difference is so important, especially if you want to win, especially if you want to get top four. Can come into play, and you just do not want to um, have that come back to haunt you later in the season because you decided to call off the dogs and not score maybe another goal or two when you could have easily. But it was nice to see the guys playing. Sonogo got the start. Sandy was on the left. Sanchez on the right. Um, I think it kind of seemed confusing, but I think Jack was more the number 10, obviously throughout the game. But it looked like Ramsey kind of took that over at some points in the game where they kind of interchanged between him and Jack. And of course, Arteta was at the DM spot, and then the back line was Debussy, Chambers, Koscielny, and Gibbs. Szczesny didn't have that. He wasn't challenged that much during the game. I think he had to make about maybe one or two saves that he was really concerned about. Um, there wasn't too many mistakes either, which was kind of surprising. Debussy made a huge mistake where he back passed, and he thought Chambers was right there, but it was actually I believe it was Jovic, I believe. But luckily for Debussy, that Chambers reacted so quickly to it and was able to track back and make it difficult for Jovic to even put a shot on target or even get a clear chance at goal. So it was nice to see. It was really nice to see too. Colin Chambers. I mean, that kid is going to be an absolute beast for us once he finally matures and once he gets that experience. Because even now he looks calm. He looks calm on the ball. He almost he basically looks like he knows what he's doing 100% of the time. And to be that young and to look that good at that age. Being thrown into the center half position, where he played mostly right back last season for Southampton. It's great to see. Like I said in one of my previous episodes, we got a steal for 16 million pounds. We got an absolute steal because that kid can be a center half for us for the next 13, 14 years possibly. When you really think of it, if you think of the big picture of how good that kid can be, that kid could be world class. in the matter of like probably like 4 or 5 years. Once either Kashani or Murdersacker either moves on or they're just getting too old for to play so many games in a given season. But the kid looks great. Um, didn't make too many moves. I know, one I think against Checo, they made a comment that he got beat by pace, but it was more of a move. He just took the wrong angle. He tried to poke the ball out from Checo, and Checo made a nice move, and got past him. So I wouldn't say he got beat by pace because the Debussy, again, going back to the Debussy mistake that he made, you could see the pace that Chambers has to track back and to make a nuisance so the striker doesn't have a free chance at goal. All in all, though, I mean, I think Karen Gibbs and Chambers probably had the best games of the back four. Gibbs he was pushing up hard all game long, and he had a nice little opportunity. He didn't get on goal. He got, I believe, a corner out of it, but he had a nice little 1-2 passing combo there. I think I believe it was with Jack. So it's nice to see him getting forward and again using that pace to even track back or to get forward to get his presence known in the final 18. So it's nice to see. Hopefully this year he does a little bit better as far as crossing. It seems like, at least to me from watching this game, that Arson is really trying to emphasize of doing a one-time cross rather than if you saw Sanya last season, sometimes he would get the ball, he would set it in place, and then he would make his cross. And sometimes you just can't do that because the defense, you're allowing the back four of the opposing team and even the DM to set up and be ready for that cross. So, but if you do it one time, it makes it a lot more difficult for the goalkeeper and even the center halves to react to where the striker is just going to be going full steam ahead to try to connect with that ball or with the cross. So that was nice to see from Debussy and Gibbs during the game, that they're doing a lot of one-time crosses. Alexis Sanchez didn't have, he made maybe, I guess you could say, some mental errors where sometimes he made the wrong decision as far as the passing went, but you could see how dangerous he is going to be for us. You could see how dangerous his pace is, his positioning. He was trying to get the left back. Was it the left back? Yeah. Or no. Yeah, left back. Korolov. He was trying to keep him honest with trying to keep high up on the pitch to give Sinogo some support. And he did throughout the game. I mean, you even saw in some of the counterattacks of how dangerous Sanchez could be. And just imagine when Theo gets back, when you might have Alexis Sanchez on one side and Theo on the next. And Theo's one of the best on the team when he can recognize a counterattack from like a mile away. And you're just going to see Sanchez and Theo bombing up each side of the field, and back fours are, they're going to have a difficult time against us when you have that much pace and that much skill coming up at each side. They won't know what to do. You're going to see fullbacks probably stay back along the back four instead of trying to bomb forward against us, just because of that positioning, just because of that pace. And of course, even if you put Sanchez up top, and then you put, like, say, the Ox and also Theo on each side and each of the wings. I mean, that's just like crazy amount of pace to deal with for any team, no matter how good you are or how good your positioning is. You can just get killed by pace and a good counterattack. And Arsenal has always been one of the best counterattacking teams in the English Premier League. So it looks like our counterattack is going to be very dangerous, to where we're going to have teams even, of the quality that Man City is, we're going to have them thinking, okay, we need to sit back, we need to have three back, we need to have the four back, which limits their options when attacking. So it was really great to see. I thought Jack had a decent game. He had a couple of nice passes, a lot of the triangles that they're creating and the passing, the fluidity. It definitely looked like I wouldn't say mid-season form, but they're getting there. They're getting there a lot faster than I expected. They looked a lot better than the Monaco game, for sure. As far as their passing, as far as their runs, I mean, you could see a lot of the 1-2s that were being played today between whether it would be Santi and Jack or Aaron and Jack or Aaron and Santi. They were doing a lot of like 1-2s and right after that first initial pass, you saw that player, whoever it may be, making that good run to get that 1-2. To have that 1-2 option, and Man City was just having all sorts of trouble the entire day trying to defend it and trying to react, and it was kind of funny to see that their defenders just didn't have any answers for us. Um, when the first 1-2 hits, maybe the second 1-2 hits, but when it keeps on coming at you and you just can't recognize it, that causes for some concern as if you're a Man City fan. When you're looking at those center halves or even looking at the fullbacks, and you're kind of thinking, okay, how can these guys not recognize these 1-2s and the triangles that Arsenal is creating throughout the game? But I mean, people are going to use the excuse, well, they didn't have all their guys. Well, I mean, the only guy that they were really, really missing from that starting 11 was basically Sergio Aguero. I know Silva came in the second half and Torre came out of the second half, but they had most of their horses as far as attacking went throughout the game. And they still didn't have an answer. They really didn't have all that many chances. There was a couple times where I had to hold my breath when Man City was counterattacking, but the positioning was great. The tracking back was great by Arsenal, to the point to where they might have got a cross in. They might have had there was a couple times where a cross came in where you just kind of thought, oh shit, but the positioning and players really going after the ball and getting it, clearing it out as soon as possible instead of just trying to think of, you know, what if some players just think, oh well, this guy has my back, or that guy has my back, so I don't have to really charge at the ball. To where today it was almost like a complete opposite, to where you had to take responsibility and you have to go after the ball no matter what. You can't depend on the next guy or the next guy that you're going to hand the ball off to, or the guy that's making a run. They really went after it, and defensively they were pretty sound today. Especially on that back forward, especially even Arteta did well. I mean, his positioning was good. There was a couple times where, again, he just bombed too far forward, and all of a sudden the counter attack was on. And, of course, he was nowhere in sight because he just doesn't have the pace to get back. But overall, he had a good game. Again, I'm going to give him credit where it's due. But, again, I really hope that we do get a DM in to to solidify that team, because I think that's all we need to really challenge or even win the league. Just to go over the goals real quick, Santi's goal was, God, what a great dummy! Fake chop, goes back over to his left. I mean, the guy, you can't even, is he left-footed? Is he right-footed? No one really knows. That's how good he is on both feet. Of course, he is his natural stronger foot is his right foot, but the way he can use his left and the way he he can strike the ball with his left foot is people should be paying attention to that. If you're younger trying to come up and you're trying to play the game, you need to be two-footed to play that game, or to be dangerous and to have that type of ability. And it was just a nice hit. It was a nice strike of the ball. It went right across the right side of the goal. Goalkeeper really didn't have a chance. Went right under Clichy's right in between his legs, and it was just a perfect strike. Perfect placement as well. He knew exactly what he was doing from start to finish, and it was just really great to see. Aaron Ramsey's goal, same thing. I mean, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. Got a little lucky with some bounces. Same with Sandy's goal as well. Um, to where the ball just kind of like poked through, and of course he made a little fake, little dummy over to his left, and then he just you know pretty much jerked it to his right, and then just right across goal again. Again, goalkeeper couldn't really do anything about it. It was just perfect placement by two really good goal scorers between him and Santi. I mean, those were just like perfect strikes of the ball and exactly where you want to place them for the goalkeeper to have like absolutely zero chance at making a save. Um, as far and then Giroud's goal was pretty amazing. They were trying to uh, on the telecast, they were trying to determine if it took a deflection or not, and it really didn't look like he took a deflection. It kind of looks like he did, but the ball did. But I would think if it took that much of a deflection, that the ball wouldn't have even came close to where it was going to be, where it was. I mean, it was just a good strike. It was just a great strike by Giroud. It was well placed. It was well hit. It was perfectly hit. Obviously, it just basically came out of nowhere because you just don't see Giroud making those type of strikes at all. You don't see him making those type of chances. And last season, I was just begging him uh, to try to make some of those strikes. To kick the ball like that, make those attempts on goal from 20, 25 yards out, and see what happens because you never know who's making a run inside the box, who can get a rebound, or if the goalkeeper makes a mistake of pushing it off to the wrong side. You never know. That could be an easy goal for anybody if the goalkeeper can't handle it, can't catch the ball or anything, or makes a wrong decision, like I said, and parries the ball to the wrong side. I wish he would do that more. I wish he would just take more opportunities because, as far as this Arsenal team goes, last year that was one of the main excuses that we just didn't put enough shots on goal. We just didn't challenge the goalkeeper enough. And I hope that Giroud, he just, he's so unselfish sometimes, but I wish he would just be selfish and say, what, screw it. I'm 20 yards out. I have a little bit of a window. I'm going to take it. If you get at least on target, you're challenging the goalkeeper. You're making the goalkeeper think a little bit harder, saying, okay, he's 20 yards out. He might be taking this chance, or he might be taking that chance. It's you always want the opposing goalkeeper to be thinking constantly and being worried about the strikers, being worried about the attacking midfielder, the wingers, everybody, especially the striker. Because strikers are supposed to be unpredictable in a lot of ways, to where taking shots on target, making runs inside the box, just being strong. But it was just a good strike, great goal by Giroud. He played his part again. He played a lot better than he did against Monaco last weekend. He was making runs. He was, you could see how much stronger he is than Sonogo. That he can hold the ball up, and he can go after those headers, and he can hold the ball up for his teammates, and it seems like him and Szczesny have a good connection as far as when Szczesny puts a goal kick out there for Giroud to go after, and of course, like Giroud, like he did last year, there was a couple times during the second half to where he made 10, 15 yard runs, 20 yard runs. I don't know, I wouldn't say 20, but there was a couple of them that were 10 and 15 yard runs that he made to go after the ball, to try to get the ball. And that's why I really like Giroud. But like I said, I wish he would act a little bit more selfishly when he's in the 18 yard box or around it, to just to take a shot on target. But all in all, it was just a great game to watch. It was great to see them win another trophy. Kind of made a tweet on Twitter, kind of a funny tweet, that it took them 3 months, to win another trophy, and I think they can do better than that. Well, That was just kind of like a little joke because of we took so long to win our first trophy, which was the FA Cup, and now uh, we're going to start this season with a bang. You know, it's just going to give everybody a lot of confidence. Um, I think it'll even give Aaron Ramsey a little bit more confidence because I believe he didn't score. Um, yeah, I don't think he scored. I think he had a couple assists at least in the preseason, but he didn't score yet. But once you get on that board, once you feel that first goal, then kind of sky's the limit. It's just that's the type of confidence you need as a goal scorer. You just need that first one to go in, and then the rest will follow. Um, but all in all, it was just a great game to watch, start to finish. It really got me excited. Throughout this preseason, I was just kind of, I was just, watching them play. I wasn't really getting into the game too much. I was just kind of looking at how players were performing, how their fitness levels were, and what kind of different things they were trying to accomplish during the preseason. But I think you saw in this game that's, it's full steam ahead. Because they did take this game seriously. I mean, you could see it within the first 10 minutes of the game that Arsenal just wanted it more. They wanted to play. They wanted to win it. They wanted to be at the end lifting up the trophy. That huge ass shield, you can almost put a big plate of, you can almost have your own buffet on that fucking thing. But it was great to see. Like I said, winning a trophy. Nonetheless, it's always great to see. Um, they won it for the 13th time, I believe, which is great. But that'll be the end of this video, and I will probably, at least before Saturday, I'm hoping somewhere around Thursday, I will have a season review um, coming out, and I'll just kind of cover like top goal scorer, player of the year, stuff like that, where I think they will finish in the league. Of course, that's subject to change, because the transfer window is not, slammed shut yet. So that could be subject to change, depending on what we do throughout the rest of the window. Um, of course, I guess just to say this is just to thank Thomas Vermaelen for his time at Arsenal, to being a class player. Even though it was probably kind of rough for him the last couple of years, especially being club captain, to not as play as many games as he did. The way he handled it was purely professional, and the guy is all class. And it's sad to see him go because he is a good player. He is a good center half, but you can't blame the guy for wanting to move on and to get an opportunity to play first team football, which I think he deserves. I think he still has at least a few more years left in him to play that first team football. But again, he's just not as good as Koscielny and Mertesacker at this point. But good luck to him. I'm glad it's Barcelona. I'm glad it's not in Manchester United. It's kind of, I guess there's a tweet going around right before it was announced that TV5 said no to Manchester United and said yes to Barcelona for less money. I guess Barcelona only offered them something like 80K a week, and I believe Manchester United was offering something around like 110 or 120, I believe, a week, and he denied it. So that's the guy is Arsenal till he dies, so which is nice to see. I hope if we ever do play Barcelona and we see him again, that the fans are smart and they don't boo him because he left. He left with respect. He didn't make a big deal about it. He didn't go out into the papers and say he wants to leave. He just didn't make a big deal about it. But I guess that's another hot wife, and Polly Parsons, she's going too, which is kind of sad. Another hot wife leaves Arsenal. but yeah, good luck to TV5 at Barcelona, and yeah, this will be the end of the video, and look out for the season review, hopefully Thursday, and that'll be it. Later.